Let me tell y'all something. Sometimes, a single sentence can change the way you see yourself, or even how an entire nation is seen by the world. The world loves to put people in a box. It's easier to label, to judge, to separate us with invisible lines and glass walls. I once saw a headline: Filipino students struggle with global English standards. Just a few words, but they echoed everywhere. That headline painted a whole nation with one ugly brush. It didn't care about individual stories or the dreams behind every face. It talked about accents, grammar, and how public school kids couldn't keep up. It made it sound like every Filipino student was already behind before they even started. Headlines like that plant seeds of doubt. Make kids wonder if they're good enough, if they'll ever measure up to the world's standards. It's a heavy weight for a child just trying to learn, to fit in, to find their place in the world. This stereotype wasn't just an article, it was a cloud over the country, casting a shadow on every classroom, every home, every hopeful heart. People whispered it in meetings, employers believed it, and it followed hardworking Filipinos everywhere. At work, at school, even in their own communities. They said the accent was too strong, the grammar all wrong, as if English was an exclusive club and the door was locked from the inside. But here's the thing about fire. You can try to smother it, but real fire burns brighter. Doubt can be fuel for determination. While the world nodded at those headlines, something was happening in a small corner of the Philippines. Away from the noise, hope was quietly growing. A quiet girl was about to take that negative headline and rewrite it for the world to see. She was ready to prove that stories are more powerful than stereotypes. And that's where our story begins. A story not just about struggle, but about courage, resilience, and the power to change the narrative. In a little town, nestled among rice fields and winding dirt roads, stood a public school with faded paint and creaking doors, where laughter and dreams echoed through the halls. There was a girl named Maria, whose eyes sparkled with curiosity and hope. She wasn't the loudest in the room, nor the first to raise her hand when the teacher asked a question, but deep inside, she had a fire in her belly, a quiet determination that set her apart. Maria sat in a classroom packed with 50 students, squeezed shoulder to shoulder on old wooden benches, sharing worn-out books, dog-eared and faded, and writing on scraps of paper because there were never enough supplies to go around. Her father drove a tricycle through the busy streets. Her mother sold vegetables at the market from dawn till dusk. They had little in terms of money or possessions, but they gave her something more valuable: faith in herself, and the belief that she could be anything she dreamed of. The school was tough. Rain dripped through the leaky roof, and the old electric fans barely spun in the sweltering heat, and lessons were written on used manila paper, carefully saved and reused by the teachers. But Mrs. Reyes, her English teacher, noticed Maria's focus and quiet determination, always encouraging her to keep going. Maria would sit at her desk, mouthing English words to herself, determined to master their sounds and meanings, even when no one was watching. Her dream was simple, yet powerful: to speak English fluently, not just for good grades, but to connect with the world beyond her small town, to understand stories and people from far away. At home, she watched English movies on a staticky TV, mesmerized by the stories, the accents, and the endless possibilities that seemed just out of reach. For Maria, English was more than a subject. It was her bridge to the world, a key to unlock new dreams and adventures. While others whispered about what she lacked, new shoes, fancy notebooks, Maria focused on her burning desire to learn, tuning out the noise around her. That desire, that unwavering hope, was her greatest asset, and it would carry her further than anyone could imagine. Success isn't an accident. It's what you do when no one's watching. Maria's day started before sunrise, listening to the BBC on a tiny radio, mimicking accents, her prized possession, a battered English dictionary. Every day, she learned 5 new words, writing them on cardboard and carrying them everywhere. She studied while waiting for rides, helping at the market, always building her vocabulary. Failure was constant. She stumbled, mispronounced words, and sometimes went home in tears. But she remembered her parents' sacrifices and kept going. Maria started a mistake book, writing down every error and its correction. She asked Mrs. Reyes for extra help, even when the teacher was tired. Maria wasn't just learning English, she was hunting it down. Her tools: a dictionary, a radio, and relentless determination. She practiced in secret, but her ambition was loud. Every mistake was fuel. She refused to give up. Maria was on a mission. Every champion has a first fight. For Maria, it was the school's English oration contest. She wrote a speech about the power of education, practicing in front of a cracked mirror and her mother. On contest day, her hands shook, but her voice was clear and powerful. She spoke not just words, but her story, dreams, determination, and hope. The room was silent, then erupted in applause. She won. That small victory was proof her hard work mattered. Maria went on to the district competition, facing students from bigger schools. They underestimated her, but her speeches had heart and grit. She won district, then city, becoming a local legend. The quiet girl from the crowded classroom was now the girl who could speak English. Her confidence grew with every win. She inspired others in her school. Maria's journey was just beginning. She was no longer invisible. She was a symbol of possibility. The fire inside her was now visible to all. Winning in the city was one thing. The national competition in Manila was another. Maria and Mrs. Reyes took a long bus ride to the capital. Manila was overwhelming, towering buildings, endless traffic, and polished competitors. The other contestants had private tutors and international experience. Maria felt out of place, clutching her old dictionary. She overheard whispers about her accent and simple dress. Doubt crept in, but she remembered her parents, Mrs. Reyes, and her school. She wasn't just competing for herself, she carried her community's hopes. Mrs. Reyes told her, "Your story is your strength, just be you." Maria embraced her background as her secret weapon. On stage, she spoke about overcoming adversity, embracing her roots. Her honesty and vulnerability stood out. The judges listened closely. Maria wasn't just another contestant, she was a testimony. She turned her disadvantage into her greatest strength. Maria's national win shocked everyone. The girl from a small public school was now a national news story. She was invited to represent the Philippines in London at the International English Public Speaking Competition. London was a world away. Her first flight, first snow, first time in an English-speaking country. The competition was fierce, native speakers from 50 countries, all polished and confident. Maria felt small, her accent suddenly a source of insecurity. She struggled with slang and rapid-fire English. A judge told her, "Your passion is evident, but your articulation needs to be crisper." It stung, but a call home anchored her. Her father said, "Just show them your heart, that's the same in any language." Mrs. Reyes reminded her of all her hard work. Maria decided she would speak her truth, accent and all. She was a Filipina, and she would speak English her way. She belonged on that stage. Her story was her power. She would not let fear win. Maria was ready for the world. The competition was grueling. Round after round, Maria faced off against the world's best young speakers, each one determined to win. The pressure in the auditorium was almost tangible, with every contestant giving their all. Maria's prepared speech was about Bayanihan, the Filipino spirit of unity and helping one another. She spoke with pride about her heritage, sharing stories that reflected the warmth and resilience of her people. She painted a vivid picture of her village, describing the laughter of children and the hands that built homes together, captivating the judges with her heartfelt words and expressive gestures. She advanced to the impromptu round, her heart pounding as she drew the topic, "A Bridge to Understanding." The room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her response. Panic hit, but she remembered her journey, late nights with her dictionary, learning new words, and listening to the radio to practice her accent. Those moments were her bridge to the world, and she drew strength from them. She spoke from the heart. A bridge is not just steel and concrete. Sometimes it's made of words, of understanding, of reaching out to others. She talked about language as a bridge to understanding and empathy, explaining how words can connect people from different backgrounds and help heal divides. The audience was silent, hanging on every word, then suddenly erupted in applause. Moved by her sincerity and courage, Maria made it to the finals, the undeniable underdog. She stood among the other finalists, her heart racing with excitement and disbelief. Her final speech was powerful. She declared that talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not, and that every child deserves a chance to shine. She spoke for every dreamer in a crowded classroom, for every student who ever wondered if their voice mattered. She looked the judges in the eye and spoke her truth, her voice steady and full of conviction. The pressure was immense, but Maria stood tall, drawing courage from her journey and the people who believed in her. She was not just representing herself, but every child with a dream, every young person who dared to hope for more. Her words resonated far beyond the stage, inspiring not just those in the room, but countless others who would hear her story. Maria had given the speech of her life, and in that moment, she knew she had already won something far greater than a trophy. Maria's final speech was over. All she could do was wait. The judges announced the runners-up. Maria's name wasn't called. It came down to her and a contestant from the UK. The head judge said, "The winner is Maria from the Philippines." For a moment, she was frozen. Then the auditorium exploded in applause. Mrs. Reyes sobbed with joy. The other contestants congratulated her. Maria walked to accept the trophy, tears streaming down her face. Back home, her village celebrated through the night. Her parents wept with pride. The news flashed across the country and the world. The girl who was told she couldn't, did. The headline was no longer about struggle, it was about triumph. A Filipina was named the best young English speaker in the world. Maria's victory shattered old stereotypes. She had rewritten the story for a nation. Her journey had changed everything. Maria's victory became a national event. She returned home a hero, greeted by thousands. The old stereotype about Filipinos and English was shattered. Her win sparked a movement. Students everywhere believed they could succeed. English clubs grew, and accents became a source of pride. The government invested more in language programs. Maria proved the issue was never talent, but opportunity. She didn't rest. After university, she returned as a coach and mentor. She started a foundation for free English training and public speaking workshops. Maria traveled town to town, sharing her story. She taught students their voice mattered, their accent was their identity. Her legacy wasn't a trophy, but the thousands she inspired. Maria showed that where you start doesn't define where you finish.